It is Thursday, May 8th. This is Jaguars Happy Hour. Jaguars Happy Hour is presented by Dream Finders Homes. And now, the white smoke is dissipating. The new pontiff of pro football is J.P. Shadrick.
I don't think so. I do not accept. Welcome in. It's Jaguars Happy Hour. We've got a busy hour ahead on this Thursday. Jeff Lageman is in. Austen Lane is in with us today. Wide receiver room changes. They have whacked Gabe Davis. We'll get to the aftermath of that. Rookie minicamp eve. They'll be on the grass Friday and Saturday. All the kids will be here, including Travis Hunter, who has a college degree in hand after going to Boulder today to walk in the commencement ceremony there. And rookie experiences. Jeff and Austen will try to dig into the Wayback Machine. I don't know if that makes any sense. We'll take a ride on the Wayback Machine to dig into the history of rookie experiences with these two. That makes more sense. 1010XL, Jaguars.com, Jaguars YouTube, and Jaguars Happy Hour is presented by Dream Finders Homes, official home builder of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Jeff Lageman, Austen Lane. Good afternoon. Hi, Jeff.
What's happening? What's happening?
Hey,
I guess Austen and
Hey,
JP.
what up, man? I know. What's up?
How we doing? I'm doing great, man.
Welcome back.
Thanks for having me back.
It's been a few weeks.
It's been a couple weeks, but yeah, back in full effect. Yeah.
We're back, baby.
That's kind of the Wayback Machine. I like the name of that.
The Wayback Machine.
I screwed it up, but I made it
No.
right
I like the name of that because
We're
it's
gonna go
kind of
way-
like
for you, it's the really Wayback
Whoa.
Machine. But
easy. It's not that far back.
It's all a state of mind.
Yeah.
It's all a state of mind, man. But JP, I want to ask you because you mentioned getting whacked right from when you get released. What is like the official terminology when somebody gets let go from a team? Because I've been whacked before. Like I've had on Twitter, it said Austen Lane whacked from the Chicago Bears, like I'm in the mafia. But then also I've been terminated before, which I thought sounded kind of cool. Like what's the official?
neither one of them's cool. I don't
Well,
think,
I mean, it's not cool, but it sounds better than getting cut or getting released.
Released is if you're.
Well, first off, let me just say this: your lack of sensitivity using the term "whacked" is kind of. I mean, come on. I mean, football players
Gabe,
are people
and
too.
your $11 million guaranteed dollars. I think you'll be okay.
Sure.
I think
so
you'll
the
be
money
okay.
makes it okay.
I think it does.
Money has feelings too.
It has no feelings. Zero feelings. You
So
can be
bad.
released if you're a veteran with amount of service time
Okay.
and be immediately eligible to sign with another team.
Okay.
If you're waived, you have not reached that threshold yet,
Yep.
and you go through the waiver process.
Okay.
can be
Those are
claimed.
the two. And then
Terminated?
you can be claimed off. I don't know if that's a true.
Okay.
There's only the two.
That was the Bears
Released and
organization
waived.
for who knows what they're doing, when
you
I was
go.
playing. Yeah, okay.
They might have just terminated your contract
Maybe.
and said, get out of here.
Sounds good.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a kind of an interesting thing. I think everybody was thinking that Gabe was going to kind of make it at least maybe another year,
Yeah.
just because of the guaranteed money that he had.
Yeah.
But with the post June 1 designation, it makes that kind of a thing a possibility of just basically stomaching the money, bite it and eat it, and then move on.
And with that designation, they can split that dead cap money over the next 2 years. It's $5.3 million this year, 14.5 or so next year.
The crazy thing, and Austin probably doesn't even remember this, they used to actually have to wait until June 1 to release a player, and then we're like, finally, everybody was like, why in the hell are we waiting until June 1 to cut some guys? Let's just say, hey, post June 1 designation to spread the hit out over the 2 years to let the players catch on,
Of course.
and go with a team. And finally, somebody had some common sense.
It is
was,
common
It was
sense.
stupid beforehand when you could cut a player and you had to wait until. So there's a lot of guys that were like, being kind of held away from the team and saying, we're told that, look, we're going to cut you June 1st. And the players twiddling his thumbs.
don't get hurt,
Can't
right.
do anything.
Yeah.
Sure.
It's a bad situation. So I'm glad the league kind of changed I guess you could say the rule book, so to speak, to designate a post June 1 cut.
When we talk about Gabe Davis, obviously, he went down the depth chart a little bit when Travis Hunter was drafted. But I was a little surprised because we have seen the good Gabe Davis when he played in Buffalo. Like, we know what he's capable of. I was a little surprised they didn't give him at least a chance to kind of prove himself a little bit in training camp.
I
I wonder, too, if the knee is
part
totally
of that is
good.
the injury,
Sure.
I think,
Yeah.
is that, look, if he were healthy and team is like, okay, look, he's healthy now, he's going to work his way kind of and get back and being right and improve upon last year. I think that it would have been a possibility, but now you're just trying to get back to the level you were at and perform at from a health standpoint. So you're not really working to improve, so to speak.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, keep in mind, too, I mean, his game is predicated off of speed, right? It's that first step and everything. He's not necessarily a possession receiver. This guy's more of a burner than anything.
That's the one thing about Gabe. I disagree. He's not a burner.
Okay.
And if you would if you looked at Gabe and you looked at his game, his 40 time, I think at best was like a high 4.5, 4.6, something like that. Okay. But he had the appearance that he was fast because he was crafty.
He's always open, yeah.
Really crafty. Did a really good job of gaining separation vertically. And if you look at his yards per catch, your first thought is the guy's got speed, right?
Correct.
But he really didn't have timed fast speed. But he had a craftiness about him. And I think there were some questions about how well he fit in the locker room last year. And I get along with Gabe great. But I think that there were some questions about that, and then you add the injury on top of that, and then you're moving forward with a new regime. You've got a new room. I think sometimes teams have a tendency to say, hey, look, let's just let everybody get a fresh start.
Sure.
10 games played, 20 catches, 239 yards, 2 touchdowns.
That's not a lot.
Where does this rank in like all-time free agent disappointments in Jags history? There have been some.
There's been some.
Now, Austin, you got one in mind or no? Or do you want to go there?
There's been one that's been worse.
Who you got? Is it?
I'm trying to remember.
Is it Julius Thomas? No. Was it not?
Laurent Robinson.
Huh? Yeah.
Laurent Robinson, maybe.
No, it's not it.
Similar.
I think maybe in the Trent Baalke era, that might have been the worst one in terms of free agent signing. Is Gabe Davis? I'm trying to think of another one that.
Hugh Douglas.
We paid a guy. I'm trying to remember. We paid a guy like a ton of guaranteed money. Nobody else really wanted him. He came here and he stunk.
How long ago?
I mean, I think a lot of people
12 years
would say
ago.
Aaron Ross from.
Yeah.
But I think
we had to watch the Olympics on the big screen.
Correct,
right here. His wife was in the Olympics.
But and listen, I love Aaron to death, man. Like that was one of my dudes. But I remember that the exit quote was he was just on vacation in Jacksonville, and that rightfully so, rubbed a lot of fans the wrong way.
It was somebody. I'll think of it here in a little bit. I'll have to maybe go back and look. But the great thing about Aaron Ross is that. I remember doing television shows. We'd have his wife on. I mean, so it was kind of a side benefit.
We had all that.
We got to talk a little Olympics, you know, and she was fantastic. She was fantastic lady, great interview.
I think that was when it was not even the new boards yet. This was like the old board.
Yeah, that's
we
right.
had to watch it. That's how long ago that was.
That's exactly right.
My gosh.
But God, I'm trying to remember the name of the wide receiver that we paid, and it was just like the worst. It was one of the worst free agent signings in Jaguars history.
And this is an older
Somebody
guy?
texted me that remembers.
Is this an older guy?
He was an older guy that came here and did nothing.
We'll have to get back to this here.
We paid him a bunch of guaranteed
usually what
money.
happens in free agency.
Yeah.
You pay big money.
No,
to players for a reason.
It was big money for then, but I mean, nowadays, I mean, everything
You don't even flinch at.
everything dwarfs, what happened, 10 years ago.
We're on 1010XL, Jaguars.com, and Jaguars YouTube. It's Jaguars Happy Hour. So with Gabe Davis now gone, let's take a closer look at this wide receiver room. Brian Thomas Jr., you might have heard of him.
Yeah.
He's pretty good.
Decent. De'Ami Brown brought in free agency. We'll see.
He's got a lot to prove.
He does. Travis Hunter hasn't put on a helmet yet. He'll do that tomorrow. And Parker Washington. Those are the top 4, I'd say. There's a longer list, certainly, but that's the room right now. Austin, what do you think of this room?
So I think it's a very intriguing room for this main reason. I think when you look at wide receiver rooms usually, let's take Tampa Bay, for example. You see a guy like Mike Evans. You know where Mike Evans is going to play. He's going to be on the outside. He's going to be getting the jump balls, go through the goal routes. Like, he's a big play receiver. A guy like Chris Godwin, okay, more in the slot, using his speed, getting open, using his route running ability. When I see guys like Brian Thomas Jr., how he was utilized last year, when I see guys like Travis Hunter, who, and Jeff has talked about this many times, he's so fluid in his route running, you can set these guys up in a lot of spots. Like Brian Thomas Jr. can play the slot. Travis Hunter can play the slot. So when you have those guys being interchangeable, that makes it hell on the defense. So that's what I'm excited about, is where exactly are they going to line up and what are these packages going to look like?
That's what we kept hearing in the last regime with that group, too. It didn't quite work out like that with all the injuries, though, Longs, to that last group.
Well, I mean, and those happen. But typically you can avoid those injury conversations if you stay a little bit younger.
True.
When you start to go a little bit older, then all of a sudden some of those things start to creep up.
You don't get healthier when you get older.
No, it's part of the deal.
Right.
You know, I mean, it's a tough enough job as it is when you're young, but then you get a little bit older, you know, it is what it is. But
Father Time's undefeated.
you know, and the one thing that I appreciate greatly about the new regime, and because I'm a huge fan of the draft. When I say a huge fan, that's where you got to build your franchise from. I mean, that's where the lifeblood of every franchise, and I've used that quote many times through the years, the lifeblood of a franchise is fulfilled through the draft. And if you don't do it through the draft, then you're not very good. And then you have to continue to dabble into free agency to spend money to make up for your shortcomings of not drafting very well. And from the moment that this new regime took over, the idea was we're going to build through the draft. And look, they participated in free agency, but the guaranteed money of almost the entire free agent class equaled, I think, the guaranteed money of 2 free agents from last year alone.
Yeah.
I mean, it was ridiculous the amount of money that they paid last year.
And it felt like the previous regime was kind of on that same idea track. Hey, draft and supplement free agency until last year.
No.
When they kind of jumped off the deep end in free agency.
Well,
like, wait a minute.
I think that look, they were free agent players from the very get-go. And then they continued to be free agent players because they weren't drafting well enough. You know, and then they reached a certain point where they were like, well, we got to onboard better. You know, which means we need to train them better. You know, which I couldn't believe was said last year at this time. Because it's basically pointing the finger at the coaching staff, basically saying, boy, you really did a terrible job of assimilating the rookie class into the football team last year.
Yeah.
And then the head coach kind of echoed the same comments, and I'm going, wait a minute. At some point, it's not about the onboarding process. Maybe it's about the selection process of getting the right player in, okay, and not focusing on – traits, and maybe let's focus in on a little bit of productivity.
Correct.
Okay, or maybe both.
We're going to come back in a little bit, and we're going to get into both of your onboarding processes when you guys were playing. How about that?
I mean, I'm probably going to have to tailor it for the show a little bit because there's some I probably shouldn't tell, but I'll see what I can do. Yeah, I'll see what I can do.
Different time,
yeah,
for sure. We're on Tintin XL. Yes.
I got the name.
What'd you got?
Jerry Porter.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's been a minute.
It has been a minute.
I had to do the old research.
No, for sure.
You know, Google. I think I kept looking, and so he was signed. I can't remember exactly what year it was, but I'll find out all the details.
I can't wait to hear how much he was making back then.
And here's what qualifies him as the worst, JP.
Oh, we got to go.
Money and quality of the guy.
Well, okay. We're on 1010XL. Jaguars.com. Jaguars YouTube. It's really conclusion of that when we come back. Also, Travis Hunter graduating today, but what to expect from him this weekend at rookie minicamp. That's next on Jaguars Happy Hour.
Since 2014, there's been only one official home builder of the Jaguars, Dreamfinders Homes. With quality-built homes and a speedy move-in process, we're in 20-plus communities in the best locations across Northeast Florida. Dreamfinders Homes is everywhere you want to live. So get off the sidelines, Jags fans, and get into the game. Let Dreamfinders help you navigate your home purchase and offer great interest rates. Visit DreamfindersHomes.com for all your move-in ready homes and step up your game.
Restaurant Orsay is a bustling French-American bistro focusing on classic French techniques with their chefs incorporating a traditional Southern influence. Celebrate life's special moments or just relax and enjoy their daily happy hour. Restaurant Orsay also offers full-service catering for any of your event needs. Restaurant Orsay, located in historic Avondale at 3630 Park Street. Visit www.restaurantorsay.com.
Can you imagine rising for work before the crack of dawn? Tending to hundreds of acres of land before dusk? Well, That's what happens on 47,000 Florida farms every day. Florida's farmers work hard to grow nutritious food for you and your family. And you can help support them by enjoying delicious fresh from Florida produce. Look for the sunny Fresh from Florida logo where you shop or visit freshfromflorida.com to learn more.
For 48 straight years, Ford F-Series have been the best-selling trucks in America. We got here by engineering breakthrough technology, redefining Built Ford Tough, and never settling for second best. But what's really made Ford F-Series the #1 selling trucks in America is you. Ford F-Series, Built Ford Tough. Based on 1977 to 2024 calendar year total sales.
Hi, my name is Charlie Jordan, and I'm the manager of social media for the Jacksonville Jaguars. So as manager of social media, we serve as a bridge between the fans and the franchise. And so my passion is rooted in being a fan, but I also get to work with the team each day. The Bright Future Scholarship was huge for me because I was able to pursue an education at the University of Florida. And because I didn't have to worry about paying for classes, I could spend my time covering the sports teams that I work around. I'm extremely grateful for the Bright Future Scholarship and the Florida Lottery specifically for allowing me to earn an education.
The Jaguars bring performance, strength, and passion to every play. And you'll find the same when you bank with EverBank. Open an EverBank Performance Savings account and score serious savings. See what you could earn at everbank.com/Jaguars. EverBank, advantage you. Member FDIC and the official bank of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Welcome back. It's Jaguars Happy Hour on this Thursday, and Jaguars football is presented by Fresh from Florida. It's always in season. JP Shadrick, Jeff Lageman, Austen Lane in with us today. We're at the Hyundai Studios of the Miller Electric Center, a beehive of activity this week. Phase 2 of the offseason program is here. The rookies are arriving today. They'll be on the field tomorrow and Saturday for rookie minicamp. And here we are.
Don't forget about the excavators.
Oh, yeah, the construction outside and all that going on,
I'm talking, I mean, I don't know exactly how many excavators are out there, but, man, they're digging some holes.
They're digging deep
around the stadium.
too.
Doing the this part of the off-season, they're actually doing some construction on the anchors for the roof structure that the new stadium will have.
How about that?
So I think that's the main focal point, or one of the main focal points of what's happening with the stadium build at this point.
I mean, Jeff, are you up there like helping them build? How do you know all this stuff, man? You got some of the connections there. Wearing the hard hat and everything.
Thank you, Chad Johnson, for kind of giving me the rundown on all back is what's going to be happening.
Yeah, it's cool. They're also working on the rookies this weekend, and we mentioned the rookies are in today, physicals, meetings today, but Travis Hunter, not one of those. He'll be here probably late tonight because he walked to the commencement ceremony at the University of Colorado today and
kudos
put
to
some
him.
video out on his social media with him and some of his friends and teammates all graduating together, and anthropology degree, Logs, from Colorado. And so he'll be here and should be on the field tomorrow and Saturday, certainly when it's open to the public. And we'll get a chance to see Travis Hunter. I got two questions for you. We're going to go this way with it. What do you want to see from him this weekend? What do you really need to see from him this weekend? Mm-hmm. There's two different things.
I'll start with number one.
Yeah.
Staying healthy. And that goes for all the rookies, because the rookie minicamp is not really, and I'm not trying to minimize it, but it's not that important in the grand scheme of things.
This is what you want, what you need to see. Stay healthy.
Yes.
What do you want to see?
Same thing.
Oh, that's okay. It's all the same.
Both answers. It's both to me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Keep everybody healthy, and you're just trying to indoctrinate these rookies into the program so that when they get onto the field with the veterans, they're not so lost. They kind of got an idea of where to go, how to go, and what to go. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Those parts.
Where's the lunchroom, all that stuff.
So when it's for me, obviously injury, stay healthy, number one, but also obviously this guy's going to be playing wide receiver and cornerback, right? I think at wide receiver, he's going to be just fine. Like if you're a rookie wide receiver taken in the top 5, top 10, you're probably going to have a pretty good rookie year. right? I think the coming from college to the pro game, it can translate pretty well. And he's got the skill set to have a successful rookie year as a wide receiver. I think it's one of the hardest positions to come from college to the pros and playing cornerback. The speed's different. The route running's different. You got to be crisp. I'm really curious to see just him playing a little defense of how does he stack up against these wide receivers. Now, he won't be going against Brian Thomas Jr. and other receivers like that, but like, I just kind of want to reaffirm just, what he looks like out of his stance, what he looks like when he's backpedaling, and whether it's zone coverage or man, how he can hold up.
I got a feeling that, and you don't want to have too much of this, but everybody's going to be focusing in on how many snaps is he taking on defense, how many snaps is he taking on offense, and had a conversation with the general manager. It was after the draft, and JP, I don't know if you happened to see this or not, but I was asking James, said, how important is it to make sure that you just don't have the conversation about Travis always be about what's he going to do, what's he going to do, what's he going to do? Because at some point you've just got to move past that and just allow the athlete to play ball.
Play.
And to stop answering questions himself.
Correct.
His teammates do not have to answer those questions themselves as well. Because you don't want to make it kind of a circus show about what's he going to do, how's he going to do it, what's the ratio going to be, how many snaps is it going to be. You just want it to be kind of, and I know that it's still new and unique, and eventually that will kind of subside, but you just don't want to give it any extra attention that you don't have to.
Well, and I'm going to say this too, Jeff. Like, we'll see what the ratio is. Obviously, it's going to be a lot more on offense, but I hope that maybe we won't be privileged to it as the media, but I hope the coaches in there know exactly what the plan's going to be. Because the last thing I want to see is maybe Campanelli, it's fourth quarter of the game's on the line, and he's like, hey, can we get Travis Hunter back in there, please? Because we need him. And then, the offensive coordinator's going, no, we want him over. I don't want to go through that miscommunication. So I hope there's going to be a clear set of rules or a clear set of ratio where it's like he can play this many on defense and this many on offense, and then as the season goes, you can change it around. But I think I don't want to see the coordinators clashing, because that could happen.
And they said it's a fluid situation, too. They're not stuck right now on it. See how the offseason goes, build it up, and see what he can handle, and then adjust even as the season calls for it, too. It could be depending on the opponent that week, right?
Could
also.
be. Could be. But, I mean, I like the approach that, look, let's get him on offense, learn the finer details of playing offense, playing wide receiver. Because the reality is that I'm not trying to say that defensive players have it easy, but reality is that playing defense is not exactly rocket science compared to offense.
What are you trying to say, Lux?
I'm just trying to say that it's a little bit easier to play defense.
In terms of the playbooks, ours was always a little thinner.
Exactly.
Right there, Jeff. Yep.
It's a little bit thinner. It's not quite as many adjustments on every single play, even though you have adjustments on defense. But playing defense is a little bit more of athleticism. There's still great technique and everything, but timing is a huge thing on offense. You're not trying to get your timing down with the safety or the other corners for the most. You want to be on the same page, but it's a little different. You want to work more with your quarterback. And working more with the safety is not as important, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I think on offense you have to be a lot more cerebral. And I think that's reflected, too, also in offensive coaches. Offensive coaches seem to be a little more calm, cool, and collected. If you get a defensive coordinator out there, they're probably going to be shouting at you, right? Because defense, I think, is based more off emotion and just see ball, get ball. Offense, it's a lot more of, okay, well, this is the play. This is the motion. What does the defense give you?
I think Austen just literally took the offensive coaches and put them in a box.
Oh, yeah.
And the defensive coaches and put them in a box.
Yeah, for sure.
Heard that.
They probably don't appreciate that, huh?
That's the perfect stereotype. Offensive guy's a little more cool-headed.
Cool, collected.
And it's funny that you bring that up, because if you sit there and you think about some of the great coaches in history, I mean, I'm talking some of the great ones. What box are you putting them in? Austen's box?
Listen, I had Andy Reid as a coach in Kansas City.
Offensive, cool, calm,
and I'm
collected.
putting the calm, cool, collected way off the side there for Andy Reid. And then I had Jim Schwartz, who was a defensive guy.
Buddy
I saw
Ryan,
him throw water coolers. He's
Buddy
going
Ryan's kind of hothead. Threw a punch at Kevin Gilbride. Defensive coach.
Different.
Yeah, it's a little different.
I mean, look at Aaron Glenn right now in New York, right? Like he's kind of changing that whole
Got
thing
a little
around
spice,
right now. Got a little spice about Aaron Rodgers and everything.
You're right.
Yeah.
Love that. This Jaguars Happy Hour. Attention, I sell. Jaguars.com and Jaguars YouTube. All right, let's get into The first did you guys ever
by
do?
the way, just real quick.
Yeah.
Incredibly proud that Travis Hunter walked.
Of course. That's huge.
Which is which is amazing.
Yep.
Because there's a lot of guys that come into the NFL that, number one, are not as smart as Travis. He's incredibly smart, incredibly dedicated to be able to get his degree on time and to be able to take that walk. I mean, and that's so important for all the young athletes that are out there that may be listening. That's something that, I mean, I hold when I sit there and I think of Travis Hunter and the quality of guy. When you talk about intangibly rich, that right there is an example of a guy being intangibly rich.
Absolutely.
So just wanted to point that out.
Love that. Do you guys remember your first rookie or your rookie minicamp?
We didn't have rookie
Yeah, so it was
minicamps.
with the team. Yeah.
Typically, you had, for a long time, JP, it was the mandatory minicamp for the team happened right after the draft, soon after the draft.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
And so that was my first experience, and I'll never forget. I go to New York, and I didn't know where in the hell I was going driving, which is not a good place to learn, where to go your first time going to New York, right? So trying to get there was kind of an adventure. I got there. And then when I walked into the locker room, and I was like, geez, these guys are like grown men. And they're older. And like some of them are old enough to be my dad. I was 21.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
I was 21 years old.
Yeah.
And I walk into a locker room, it's got Pat Leahy, our kicker. I think he was 40. Dan Alexander, our guard from LSU. And all he did was go, It's about only the two words he would say to a rookie, and he was like in year 13. Wow. And these guys are grown men.
Yeah. Eye-opening.
Yeah, it's different. It ain't like being in a college locker room anymore.
Yeah, yeah.
Yours was similar, though?
Mine was definitely similar. It was funny because our welcome to Jacksonville wasn't what I anticipated it to be. So we were staying at the extended stay, kind of off South Side and everything. And it was me, Tyson Alualu, Deji Kareem, Scotty McGee, and D'Anthony Smith. And this is back when we didn't have Uber really, right? So you have to use a taxi cab. So we call a taxi. We want to go by the St. John's Town Center and just kind of check everything out, right? Taxi cab guy comes to pick us up. It's a van. We all fit in. I'm sitting shotgun. Guys are behind me. And keep in mind, I'm a big dude at the time. D'Anthony Smith is a pretty big dude. Tyson's a big dude, but the guy didn't make the connection of who we were.
Where did D'Anthony Smith play college?
So he went at Louisiana Tech.
That's what it was.
Yeah. I think he was a third-round pick.
Defensive tackle.
Defensive tackle.
Yep.
So we were all Senior Bowl teammates. Tyson, D'Anthony, and myself all played in the North team in the Senior Bowl. So anyway, so we're getting in the cab, and we're like, all right, this is Jacksonville. This is cool. And the taxi driver goes, hey, you guys follow football? And we're like, yeah, a little bit. And keep in mind, this was the Tim Tebow year. And a lot of Jaguars fans wanted Tim Tebow to come to Jacksonville. Right. So we look to this taxi guy. He goes, I'll tell you what. Should have got Tim Tebow and he goes, we get this stupid Tyson, I can't even pronounce his last name. And he's sitting in the back seat. And the best part is, because you know me, man, I'm kind of I'm a little bit of a smart ass, right? So I'm instigating. I go, yeah, I heard Tyson kind of sucks. And Tyson, if you know Tyson is the quietest, most humble, salty dude ever. So Tyson's just sitting back there, just taking it from this guy, not saying anything, just kind of have a smirks on his face. And this guy's like, I can't believe we got Tyson Alualu. What a waste of a pick. So that was literally our first night in Jacksonville, for rookies, and that was our welcome to Jacksonville moment.
By the way, the first time, and Austin you probably thought the same thing. The first time I ever laid eyes on Tyson Alualu, I went, my God, this guy's big boned.
Yes.
I'm talking knees like this, calves like this, and for people on radio, I'm making
calves as
very
thick
large.
as toasters. It's ridiculous.
Like I'm talking 12 by 12 posts.
Yeah.
Even if he wasn't working out football, he's just going to be that big, broad guy.
Big dude, man.
And an adjective that gets used a lot by scouts is heavy hands. Tyson Alualu was the definition of heavy-handed. His punch, his pop, it was just different, man.
He was kind of widely criticized.
He was, yeah.
For the Jaguars taking him at that spot. But I can tell you this. Tyson Alualu had a fantastic career.
Correct.
And was a damn good football player.
Yep.
And when you look at it in hindsight, I don't think there's any doubt that Tyson's career was worth where he was picked.
I mean, he played up until what? I think 2 years ago.
Yeah, he was
23 was his last year
with Pittsburgh.
Exactly.
And it was Detroit after that,
which was a perfect fit,
of course,
for Tyson to go to Pittsburgh.
Oh yeah.
For that body type and the type of player that he was, you almost wish that he had played in that Pittsburgh Steelers 3-4 style of defense
all the
from the
work.
very beginning.
Exactly, because I think with Tyson here in Jacksonville, people got so infatuated with like the quarterback sack numbers and things like that. But like what people didn't see was his ability to take on double teams, his ability to cause chaos in the backfield, because that doesn't pop up on the box score. Right, it's all about quarterbacks, sacks and tackles for loss. But when you followed him to Pittsburgh and you see what he's able to do there, I mean, they had one of the best defenses in the league, and it stemmed from him playing that nose technique and just causing chaos, taking on double teams.
Imagine had he not hurt his knee in the Oklahoma drill the first day,
which was,
I mean, gets off the plane because.
What are we doing? Oklahoma drill in the first day.
Before I worked here, I had nothing to do with it.
Got off the plane and literally signs his contract, and Coach Del Rio goes, "All right, Oklahoma drill for Tyson." And,
I'm trying to remember.
And of
who
all people,
it was
Vinny. May rest in peace. Vinny was the one guy who did not want to go against an Oklahoma.
Which, by the way, was an epic.
Welcome to the NFL.
That'll wake you up.
You'll talk about epic matchup, though.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
I mean, Vince Mailoi,
that was a pay-per-view right there.
Tyson Alualu.
That was the main card.
And I totally understand Del Rio's kind of thought process there.
Yeah.
Is that, let's set the tempo.
Sure.
With two guys that are, I mean, I'm talking type A.
Cut from a different
big
cloth.
Dudes to get after it, to set the tempo for camp. And I get it.
Yeah.
But at the same token, I remember going, I think it's a little early to do this. And then when Tyson hurt his knee, I was like, I don't know what was worse. Tyson Alualu hurting the knee in the first contact drill in camp, or the first round pick out of Florida outside linebacker, Dante Fowler in rookie camp, totally getting fatigued because they were trying to wear him out in this rookie minicamp.
There was 11-on-11 stuff too going on.
And I was sitting there watching him, and I'm going, he's fatigued. I don't think he's ready for all this.
He got blocked by some tryout right tackle while he was in the air and landed wrong. And
it was just I thought it was like a fatigue injury.
Sure.
And I'm just going, we're not. What are you doing? I mean, they're trying to stress the rookies to let them know when you come back, you got to be ready and then shake.
Yeah.
And I'm, so, and then after that, everybody's like, wait a minute, maybe we ought to have this acclimation period to allow players to work their way into it.
Absolutely.
We'll come back in a moment. The Jaguars have 9 draft picks. They'll also have, 22 undrafted players here?
Some that got good money.
The question will be, would you rather be a 7th-round pick or an undrafted free agent?
That's a great question.
We'll get to that when we come back. This is Jaguars Happy Hour.
Since 2014, there's been only one official home builder of the Jaguars, Dream Finders Homes. With quality-built homes and a speedy move-in process, we're in 20-plus communities in the best locations across Northeast Florida. Dream Finders Homes is everywhere you want to live. So get off the sidelines, Jags fans, and get into the game. Let Dream Finders help you navigate your home purchase and offer great interest rates. Visit DreamFindersHomes.com for all your move-in ready homes and step up your game. The Jaguars bring performance, strength, and passion to every play. And you'll find the same when you bank with EverBank. Open an EverBank Performance Savings account and score serious savings. See what you could earn at everbank.com/Jaguars. EverBank, advantage you. Member FDIC and the official bank of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Ranked as the nation's best public university by the Wall Street Journal, the University of Florida is on a mission to transform education. UF continues to help grow the economy through research breakthroughs and leadership in AI. And with its nationally recognized career services, UF students and graduates have never been better prepared to make a difference in the world. To learn more about how the University of Florida fuels bold ideas that make an impact around the globe, visit fromflorida.ufl.edu.
Jacksonville Builders scored big with DL Cabinetry. As the official cabinet supplier of the Jacksonville Jaguars, they offer top quality kitchen and bathroom cabinetry for any project. Enjoy fast turnaround, complimentary design, and great prices. Visit dlcabinetry.com today to learn more and to become a dealer. Limited spots available. DL Cabinetry, the winning choice for builders.
What's the best part about lawn care during the winter? You can give it a rest. Lawns only need watering up to once a week. Really, that's it. Using less water means you're saving time and money that you can put towards something else. Before you run your sprinklers, remember, give it a rest and only water up to once a week. For more information, visit waterlessflorida.com.
Floridians, do you know how close you are to freshness? It's not a plane or a ship ride away. It's not across an ocean or over the equator. It's not even a far drive. The peak of freshness is at your grocery store, and it's called Fresh from Florida. Fresh from Florida is local produce grown by farmers right here in our own state, meaning it's always fresh, always in season, and always mouth-wateringly good. Look for the sunny Fresh from Florida logo or ask for it by name where you shop.
Welcome back. It's Jaguars Happy Hour. And it's a busy schedule ahead at Daly's Place. Teddy Swim's coming up May 10th, 2 nights away, sold out. A little later, Kodak Black replacing T-Pain. That's May 31st. And then the month of June is jam-packed with shows from start to finish. All the info, and you can buy tickets at dailysplace.com. Welcome back. It's Jaguars Happy Hour from the Hyundai Studios, Miller Electric Center. JP Shadrick, Jeff Lageman, Austen Lane with us today on 1010XL AM, Jaguars.com, and Jaguars YouTube. We're in the break talking more about rookie memories, if you will, or infamous moments that might have happened in Jaguars rookie history. But we left out the rookie dinner stuff. I mean, that that might be later in the summer, spring, if they even do much of that anymore. Who knows with some of the rules these days? But the question going to the break was, speaking of money, right? Mm-hmm. Would you rather be a 7th-round draft pick of the Jaguars with slotted money, nothing guaranteed, or an undrafted free agent where you have teams maybe competing for your services and offering different signing bonuses?
I think it's a great question because, it's kind of twofold. If you're an undrafted guy, you can kind of pick your place of where you're going to go to help give you the best opportunity of having a job once September rolls around. If you're drafted by a team that's stacked at your position, it's not helping you out a whole lot. So, and then a lot of times if you're a highly sought after undrafted guy, your guaranteed money is better than any other guy that got drafted in the 7th round.
Correct.
But then again, if you get drafted, you can always say, I got drafted in the NFL.
Yeah, right.
Something to be said for that. Yeah. I mean, if it's me, like, there is something to be said, yes, I'm an NFL draft pick, something that goes into that. But at the same time, do I want to be a draft pick or do I want to have longevity? And I think when we talk about longevity, if you can kind of pick and choose where you want to go based off of depth, based off of what the situation is, you probably have a better shot of making said team. So I would almost lean towards being an undrafted guy, maybe having a little bit of a bidding war for me, getting some of that guaranteed money, then hopefully making a team to start the season off.
Yeah, and it's kind of interesting, too, from a contract standpoint. 7th-round pick is getting a contract that's around 4 years, that's about $4 million. Which is essentially, that's the minimum salaries of the NFL combined over the course of 4 years. And I was telling you guys during the break.
There's been some inflation.
It's a little different. Yeah. So back in 1989, in the Wayback Machine, here we go. We're going back in the Wayback Machine. My first contract as the 14th overall pick in the draft was 4 years, $2.1 million.
Mm-hmm. Big money.
So guys today are making more at minimum in 4 years than I was making it as a first-round pick. Now, compare that to the first overall pick of the draft was expected to sign for a contract that's probably in the range of like 43 to 44 million. Mm-hmm. That's significantly different.
Yeah.
So would you rather be drafted? I'd rather be drafted in the first round nowadays, okay,
Right.
than in the first round back in 1989.
Sure.
And definitely would rather be drafted in the first round than be an undrafted guy and pick your perfect spot.
Yeah.
How about, and what's also helped later round draft picks, undrafted guys, is the expansion of the practice squad, too. It's not, comparatively to a contract, it's not that kind of money. However, if you have 2 years or fewer, you're getting paid $13,000 a week if you're on the practice squad. At least you're around. If you've done the right things in camp, they like you enough, you can be around, and maybe you get pulled up. You don't know how the games go later in the year. So to be around, that says something if you can manage what you're doing in training camp.
Well, when the practice squads first came out, the pay wasn't even anywhere close to what it is now. It was like $4,000 a week or something like that, or $3,000 a week.
Yeah.
And I remember
room and board.
Yeah,
That's about it.
Here's some
just
air
enough
and
to
water.
get by.
Yeah.
I'm talking guys were like leaving the cafeteria with to-go boxes because they didn't have to buy food once they left the facility. You know, but I think paragraph 5 salary back when I first started. The minimums were like 180, 90 grand. It's significantly different, obviously, nowadays, and it should be. The growth of the NFL has been just amazing over the last 30, 40 years. Incredible.
You have some vets that can be on there too now. So their minimum weekly salary this year is $17,500 with a maximum of $22,000. So you're on there for a few weeks, and then something happens, an injury, and it's just giving guys more opportunity to stick around
for practice.
Do the math,
squad.
right?
Yeah.
You're on there
Yeah.
all season long. You're not starving.
Pretty good money.
Yeah.
I wish I was around when I was playing still. A little bit of a practice squad. I wouldn't mind, going on the practice squad a little bit, getting a little extra money here and there.
Better than zero.
Well, and the one thing that I do like too is that when the practice squad was first, the whole idea was conceived, contrived, whatever you want to call it. It was all about the young guys, and now you can be a veteran guy and be on the practice squad. Which look, you get activated off of the practice squad, then 17.5 all of a sudden turns into significantly more.
Of course,
because your per week pay is based off of about $1 million, which is the minimum for vested veteran that's been in the league for a number of years. So it's a big difference.
So let's come back in a moment, and we'll get our final thoughts with rookie minicamp coming up the next 2 days. Big.
Yeah, are they even allowed to wear helmets during the rookie minicamp? I think they are.
The helmets are okay.
Yeah.
Shells or not? Or is that too much to
no
ask?
shells.
Okay,
Shells
no
is
shells.
too
All right,
much.
let's acclimate them. Okay.
Yeah, we're acclimating.
We're acclimating. I got you.
That's
Okay.
what we're doing.
Okay.
And we're back in a moment. It's Jaguars Happy Hour.
Since 2014, there's been only one official home builder of the Jaguars, Dreamfinders Homes. With quality-built homes and a speedy move-in process, we're in 20-plus communities in the best locations across Northeast Florida. Dreamfinders Homes is everywhere you want to live. So get off the sidelines, Jags fans, and get into the game. Let Dreamfinders help you navigate your home purchase and offer great interest rates. Visit DreamfindersHomes.com for all your move-in ready homes and step up your game. The Jaguars bring performance, strength, and passion to every play. And you'll find the same when you bank with EverBank. Open an EverBank Performance Savings account and score serious savings. See what you could earn at everbank.com/Jaguars. EverBank, advantage you. Member FDIC and the official bank of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Hi, my name is Charlie Jordan, and I'm the manager of social media for the Jacksonville Jaguars. So as manager of social media, we serve as a bridge between the fans and the franchise, and so my passion is rooted in being a fan, but I also get to work with the team each day. The Bright Future Scholarship was huge for me because I was able to pursue an education at the University of Florida, and because I didn't have to worry about paying for classes, I could spend my time covering the sports teams that I work around. I'm extremely grateful for the Bright Future Scholarship and the Florida Lottery specifically for allowing me to earn an education.
When disaster strikes, trust the experts at Surf Pro. As a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars, they bring the same dedication and precision to restoring your property as the Jaguars do on the field. Whether it's water, fire, or storm damage, their highly trained professionals are on call 24/7 to make it like it never even happened. Surf Pro, your local leader in restoration and cleanup.
It's game time, Jaguars fans, and Publix knows that football is all about pairings. A high-scoring offense paired with a stingy defense. A rocket-armed QB paired with a dynamic wide receiver. And at Publix, you can pair hot deli chicken tenders with savory dips, delicious sub platters with ice-cold beverages, and you can pair these tailgate essentials with an entire parking lot full of Jaguars fans chanting, Duval! Gear up for your tailgate at Publix, the official supermarket of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
For 48 straight years, Ford F-Series have been the best-selling trucks in America. We got here by engineering breakthrough technology, redefining built Ford tough, and never settling for second best. But what's really made Ford F-Series the #1 selling trucks in America is you. Ford F-Series, built Ford tough. Based on 1977 to 2024 calendar year total sales.
We're back. It's Jaguars Happy Hour presented by Dreamfinders Homes, official home builder of the Jacksonville Jaguars. We're on 1010XL AM, Jaguars.com, Jaguars YouTube, each and every Thursday. JP Shadrick, Jeff Lageman, and our lovely, wonderful special guest, Austen Lane, in the studio with us. Great to see you again.
Great to be back, man. Surprised you haven't got a cease and desist yet from Brett Martineau, but I appreciate you having me back, man.
How's the show going over there?
Show's going all right, yeah. Show's going good. We're starting to get to more of like the creative time in sports radio now because football's starting to be a little. Well, we got the training camp coming up but like
with the dead zone.
It's starting dead zone a little bit.
Just do me this favor.
Yeah.
As a talk show host, I guess that's what I am.
Yeah.
Don't do the Mount Rushmore discussion on anything.
Oh, no, we're good.
I hate that.
We
had
lame. Pope power rankings today, so it's all good. Yeah, Mount Rushmore, what is this, amateur hour? No, man.
What are we doing?
Pope power rankings. Yeah.
That was big and timely.
Yeah.
Actually.
Yeah.
Hi, Jeff.
You guys. So wanted to get back to this the rookie contract thing because we were having that conversation. Would you rather be drafted or would you rather end up being a rookie undrafted free agent?
Yeah, financially, like what's the better? Yeah.
So I was looking, and the Jaguars have one of the top guys in the league, Danny Strigow from University of Minnesota. He was a defensive end. Watch the film on him. Power guy, sets the edge good. Got a ways to go as a pass rusher. But he got the 12th most money, guaranteed money, out of any undrafted rookie free agent
in the league.
Wow. And that was $254,000.
Man,
the guy at the top, Ben Chukwuma from the Buccaneers. I don't know what position. I'm assuming maybe defensive end. Maybe you can find that, JP. Chuck. CHUKWUMA. $300,000. That was the highest amount of any undrafted free agent.
Offensive lineman.
Okay.
Now, is there a cap? Like, how does that work for undrafted? Like,
I think there is a cap for all of that pool, and I don't know exactly how they configure that, but they do have a pool for that. The Jaguars also had an offensive lineman from Penn State, Wormley.
Okay.
They paid him over $100,000, which obviously is a position of need for the Jaguars. And but yeah, to be a highly desirable undrafted guy. I mean, Austen, what were you, fifth round pick?
I was a 5th round pick, and my my signing bonus when I signed, it was like 154.
So 154. I mean, these guys right here are surpassing him as a 5th round pick.
I'll never forget it because they actually cut me a check, and I lost in the airport on my way back to Wisconsin. So I had to go back and get my check from the airport.
Oh, you found it though.
I thought it was just between the seats. We're good. It's good.
An actual paper
check.
check.
Probably get it direct deposited next time. You know what I'm saying? But I had a paper check, and then I had to go back.
I'll never forget when I went to New York and I got my signing bonus check.
Yeah.
And God rest his soul, Billy Hampton Jr., was the assistant equipment manager. The head guy was Bill Hampton Sr., legendary.
Yeah.
From even going back to the Joe Namath days. He'd been there. And it was a family affair. So you had Bill Hampton Sr. was the head equipment guy. Bill Hampton Jr. was the assistant guy. And then you had the family working the entire clubhouse as well. Clay was the assistant equipment manager to the assistant. And then Derek was like an equipment intern, the whole family. And then on the weekends, they had a couple brothers, I think Brian, that worked the visiting locker rooms. Anyway, so my signing bonus check, I go there and sign my contract, go into training camp. I was holed out because they wouldn't give me a fair market deal. Get my signing bonus. We agree. And all of a sudden, here comes Bill Hampton Jr., and he's pushing. You remember the shoulder pads cart?
Of course.
Yeah, so for people that don't know, there's these kind of trolleys that they put the equipment bags on for all the players. And in those bags, helmets, shoulder pads, all the equipment a player needs to play a game. And so these big trolley things, and Billy's pushing it. He's like, oh, and there's nothing on it but one envelope. And he's pushing it in the locker room. And so he's acting like he's pushing, the rock of God. Comes in the equipment room and then goes to my locker, and I'm going, what the hell's going on? And he goes, here you go, Lageman, here's your signing bonus check.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Jeff, what was the first thing that you bought? Because, everyone's got
a vehicle.
Yeah.
I
What'd you
bought
get?
1989 Ford Bronco Eddie Bauer edition.
There you go.
I had to have a set of wheels.
Class.
I had to get from A to B.
Sophistication.
What was yours?
My first thing I bought was a new pair of Vans. And then I got a Cadillac.
Vans, by the way, for people that don't know, are shoes.
Shoes, yeah. Not literally a van.
He didn't buy a pair of vehicles.
No.
Vans,
and then I bought a Cadillac EXT truck with 26-inch rims. It was all black. It was black on black. And then went through a drive-through. And then literally the first day I had the rims, went through a drive-through, scraped the rims up, had to get some new rims. So that lasted 24 hours with those rims. Yeah.
I didn't have any fancy rims on mine.
That's fair. It's probably the smart way to do it.
Stock rims.
Yeah, let's see what you're lacking for like the exterior you had in the interior with the Eddie Bauer edition.
Bauer
man.
edition
That's
was
some comfortable sitting right now.
I did put a sound system in it.
There you go.
Yeah,
there you go.
I like my music.
Yeah,
still
upgraded
like
a little
my
bit.
music.
Yeah, I like that.
Nowadays, I just put. Nowadays you can just get one of those Bluetooth speakers and put it in there.
Yeah.
And that's all you need.
Yeah.
But back then, I had bazooka tube. The whole 9 yards. It was like a bazooka tube. It was probably about a 6-7 inch bazooka tube right behind the rear seat, the very back. Limited.
I bet you had some sweet cassettes in your car.
Actually, I think I had CDs. I had a 10
Upgraded
cartridge CD player
underneath the seat
in the console.
Oh, in the console. Okay,
console.
so it's convenient.
Yes,
because some people had underneath the seat. We had to drive in
somewhere
traffic
in the trunk. Right? Yeah, that's right.
It was a Sony 10-disc cartridge CD player, and the great thing is that I had a home stereo system that cartridge would fit the same home system that I had.
Interchangeable.
So I could take my cartridges out and then interchange them, from A to B.
About that.
Pretty sweet.
That is pretty sweet.
And it was nice, too. It was a dark blue and tan.
Okay.
Of course, all the Eddie Bauers pretty much were all tan.
Yeah,
But it was like the trim package. And then the inside had kind of that tan inside. Yeah. And it was a total dog. The engine was junk. They underpowered those for years, by the way.
It sounds like you're not over it yet.
No, I was very disappointed of the power of that thing. And then finally I got a Chevy Tahoe when I came to Jacksonville.
Okay.
In 95, and that was a great vehicle. That was a great one.
Still are. Rookie minicamp this weekend on the field, Friday and Saturday. We talked a lot about Travis Hunter. How about some of the other 8 draft picks? Who are you most excited to see? If you're not going to be here, hear about, watch highlights of. Travis Hunter is the star attraction, but there are a lot of guys that can contribute in the draft class here coming up.
A guy I'm going to name is Caleb Ransaw, just because when he was drafted, I kind of had some skeptical eyes, a little bit of what was the plan going to be at cornerback, but by all my indications, he's going to be playing safety. This guy is extremely fast. He's going to bring an interesting dynamic in terms of coming downhill and laying the lumber, if you will. So I'm very curious to see what's he going to look like playing safety a little bit. Obviously, the pads won't be on, so you can't get the full effect, but just does he look comfortable playing maybe a new spot?
Vlogs?
Well, it's kind of hard for me to do this, okay, because I'm going to pick a guy from my alma mater's nemesis / rival, Virginia Tech. Which, by the way, I did take an official visit to Virginia Tech.
You went to Blacksburg.
I did, which was pretty cool because I got to meet Bruce Smith when he was still at Virginia Tech.
That's how long ago this was.
It was, and was expected to be the number 1 overall draft pick, which he was eventually.
Yeah. Yep.
But the running back out of Virginia Tech.
Bayshul Tootin.
I mean, to me, I want to see Tootin because the speed that he has is real. And when you're talking about having a minicamp, which is essentially an underwear, I just want to feel his speed because the big guys and the physicality you're not going to feel in a rookie minicamp. But I want to feel his speed because watching him on film, you can see it and you can believe it, but I want to see it in person and feel it in person.
Jags drafted 2 offensive linemen, but in this setting, it's probably going to be tough to see much until training camp. Really, preseason games is when you're going to see a lot of that.
That's kind of my point. You know, I mean, it's not the underwear Olympics because that's the combine. Yeah. But, you know, it's still kind of the underwear camp.
Duck walking. That's all you're going to see for, you know. I mean, it's crucial, you know, but, like, not that entertaining to the untrained eye.
But I'm looking forward to seeing those 2 guys just how they look physically.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, sure.
You know, because
let's walk off the bus. Let's see what they look like. You know, that's the whole thing.
I totally want to see what they look like when they come off the bus. I totally want to see that. You know, and the guy from Southern Cal, I think he's got a chance to develop and get bigger and stronger and grow up even more and then have a chance at being a legitimate starting caliber center. And the kid Miles out of West Virginia, by God, I had to throw that in there.
Yeah.
Because that was kind of a running joke at University of Virginia and West Virginia. We used to have a kind of a game every year with those guys. And they had an offensive lineman way back when that was along the lines of his name was Wozniak. And Virginia had Jim Dombrowski. West Virginia had Wozniak, and both of them were going to be these first-round picks, which they eventually were. And so I want to see this Miles guy because, I mean, looking at him on film, he's a big dude.
Yeah.
Big dude. Played left tackle last year. I want to see where they're going to line him up.
Yeah.
You know, not so much see him physically in a practice, but I want to see where they line him up in practice.
Saturday, open to the public, but you got to register. Jaguars.com. There's a banner at the top of the main page. That'll take you where you need to go to sign up for free tickets, and it should be a packed house.
Did you sign up?
I did.
Okay.
I'll be there.
Just check.
Did you? Are you going?
I'm going. I don't know if I'm going to go tomorrow.
Hesitation.
Tomorrow's not open to the public.
Correct. That's what I didn't ask you about tomorrow. I asked you about Saturday. You got a show to do in the morning. And then,
Saturday?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll come right from the outdoor show right to the practice.
The practice is like 1.
No, I know. Yeah. I know that. But
little time for
I'm going to twiddle my thumbs for a couple hours, but I'll come here and hang out with you. I'll come here and hang out with you.
Oh, that's just what I want.
You going to buy breakfast?
You're going to have you're probably going to have a sub. You'll stop on the way, eat. That's what you do. That's normally your
I'll do a
routine.
sub on the way home.
Okay.
JP,
whatever.
any chance that we can talk them into getting like a bus to actually pull on the field so we can actually see them getting off the bus? Because that's a big thing, right? That's what people want to see.
It's an intimidation factor.
Exactly. So let's pull that bus on the practice field. Let's let them get off it, and let's see what we got to work with.
Like Clemson,
I like that
top
idea,
of the hill,
actually.
let them run down the hill. The whole thing.
Kind of like Death Valley and Clemson.
Yeah, exactly.
But I like the off the bus thing. I think we can sell that.
That's a good idea.
That's a sponsorship opportunity right there.
I
It's made you guys some money
off the bus.
Brent's going to be mad now. I'm making money over here and not the other show.
Announce
It's all right,
each-
though.
You can come anytime you want.
All right, cool,
Austin.
cool.
Yeah,
Announce
absolutely.
each one, coming off the bus. And first round pick, Travis Hunter.
Gosh.
He comes off the dancing, like you did a little bit, Can you dance like that, JP?
I can dance, but not like that.
Do you think Travis Hunter's going to have some sort of like when it's the first day of like regular training camp? Will he show up in some crazy way? Because I feel like he's humble, but I feel like if we're talking about getting those Twitter numbers up a little bit or the stream numbers up.
Yeah, I don't see him. I think he's more of a organic, generate the numbers kind of guy.
Doesn't need to have the Brinks truck or anything like that.
He's not going to be the Jalen Ramsey coming with the Brinks
Maybe if
truck.
he's a little more established, maybe he brings the boat to the new marina or something.
Now
and walks
we're
over,
talking.
I
actually tried and inquired about that back in the day. Could I bring the boat to come to work and park over there and then walk across the parking lot?
What'd they say?
No.
Why?
There was no. They didn't have any marina over there at that time for years. You know, because the only thing that was there, I think, was the Jacksonville Fire and Rescue dock that they had over there.
You're not allowed on that.
Back then, they didn't have anything built over there. But I was trying like heck to find a way to take my boat from my house down at my old place and then take it downtown and walk across Lot J to go to work.
We'll see you, Austin, in what, 2 weeks?
I'll see you when I see you. Yeah, I think 2 weeks.
If you're coming Saturday or no? No, you're out.
Probably
You're out
not.
Saturday.
No. Son's got to play football championship.
I love it.
Let's go Flyers.
We'll see you in 2 weeks. That's Austen Lane Logs. I'll see you when I see you.
I'll see you in a couple days.
Okay, that's Jeff Lageman. I'm JP Shadrick. Our thanks to Britt Reber and Joe Fortunato, and thanks to you for listening and watching. It's Jaguars Happy Hour.